Oh, there we go. Almost missed the transition. Oh, I think we're going. Yep, we're live.
Hey, we're live. Right on.
And Dorothy Allen's in the chat, but I'm pretty sure it's a bot.
Can't you block that? You can block that.
I really have no idea how at this point.
Too funny.
Too funny. It doesn't even say there's anybody watching. Okay.
Cool.
I'm good.
Well, you ready to roll?
I think I'm good to go.
Oh, I just about forgot. I'm gonna put my fisherman's friends on the table so I don't
Oh.
so I don't do this Peter Griffin thing in the Oh yeah.
the old chips in the attic.
Yeah.
What?
My wife hates that sound. I'm not allowed to say it. Probably somewhere in the house right now she's just going.
She's like, oh,
What?
shiver.
I thought we had a rule.
Shiver.
All right, here we go.
Something said, not good.
Oh yeah, there was a cold breeze. No, it's winter in Saskatchewan. There's always a cold breeze. Yeah. Okay, you ready?
I think so.
I think so too. All right, you got the show notes. I like how we feign being organized. It's just such a
Smoke and mirrors, folks.
Oh,
Smoke and
yeah,
mirrors.
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Perceived control. Okay.
We look like we got it all together.
Oh yeah, and one take. That's it.
Yeah, one take. None of this.
Welcome.
Oops, sorry.
now it's two takes. Welcome to Cardboard Conjecture. I'm your host Norm,
And I'm Ryan.
and on this episode, some games of late, as per usual. Some little bit of news, and some dinosaur news. And Ryan, what do we got going on for a topic?
Ding, 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 jingle bells, jing. All the lovely Christmas music that's happening. But we're going to tackle the holiday season here, and we're going to give you our top picks for stocking stuffers and games to play with your family. That's not Monopoly.
Yeah. Cool. All right, coming back in. And welcome back. This is Cardboard Conjecture. Let's get in some games of late. And do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Sure, I'll go
Okay.
first.
All right.
So I made an allusion on this on What You've Been Playing Wednesday that Jen and Regan and I have been playing the trilogy of card games that have been released by the Flat Out Games design team of Molly, Robert, and Sean, and all being published by AEG. So we've been playing Point Salad, Truffle Shuffle, and the game that I want to talk about today is the latest one that's been released this year, and that's the game called 10. No exclamation part, but they're all capitalized for some odd reason. So 10. And 10's a really neat little abstract card game where you are trying to collect sets of numbers. And there are 4 colors of these numbers. And they range in value from numbers 1 to 9. And there are duplicates of the numbers 1 through, I believe, about 5. So there's more copies of 1 through 5 than there are of copies 6, 7, 8, 9. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to collect sets and these runs. And what you will do is you will score your biggest run for each of the 4 colors. And that's how many points you're going to score throughout the game. Now, how you acquire these cards is a little bit of a push your luck mechanic where you're going to flip over cards from the top of the deck. When you flip over the cards on the top of the deck, they're either going to come in one of 2 varieties. They're the actual colored numbered cards, or there's going to be currency cards. That's right, I said currency, as in things to buy more things later on in the game. Now, your currency cards are worth negative value of whatever the cards you flip over, and the colored cards are worth positive value. If the net total of all the cards you've laid out is ever greater than 10, and there's the name of the game, you bust. And when you bust, you get a bust currency token, which is worth $3. and your turn is done. But if you don't bust, then you can either choose to take all of the currency cards and therefore get yourself some money, or you can take all of the colored value cards and add them to your collection of all these possible runs and sets that you're going to collect. Now, if you choose if you choose the numbered colored cards, the other players at the table get the currency. So there's a kind of a nice delicate balance of when do I want currency, when do I want the actual cards. Now, if you do decide to take the currency, the cards themselves go into a market. And that market is where you can use your currency tokens to buy them. So if I want to buy the green 3, I have to spend $3. If I want to buy the blue 9, I better have $9 in order to spend to buy it, type of thing. And these cards go into the market as well whenever you bust. So there'll be a lot of cards in that market. And it's really fun that the card counting in this game becomes extremely important at the very end of the game when you're like flipping over and you're like, where's the 9? Does anybody have the 9? And everybody's like kind of hovering, like we hover over our cards, like, yeah, if you haven't been paying attention type deal. So now what's the gauge of a good game that's a successful game that we've acquired is that my wife, Jen, always is requesting to play this game like almost on a nightly basis lately. So I give that a metric that, man, this game's got something special going on because she always wants to play this game now. And it plays fast. Like it's a big stack of cards, but man, do you go through that stack of cards fast. Like this is another one of those 15, 20-minute games.
Wow.
And then it's over type of thing.
Wow.
The last thing that I haven't mentioned yet is that there are wild cards. There are numbers that can go into any of the colors, or there are numbered cards that just like can be any number of a particular color. And those particular cards get auctioned when they get flipped over, so that you have to spend your currency. And it's just one of the one time around the table auctions. Once I've bid, I can't bid any further. Yeah. So be careful what you wish for or what you bid with, because it's not coming back around to you if you don't.
One and done. Yeah.
Yep. So really neat. Checks off all of the nice little boxes that we like in these types of games. It's got that auction. It's got the set collecting. It's got the fast, easy rule set. The very low cognitive load on the game. Yeah. Man, I don't think I've went a week in the last little while without mentioning Flat Out Games and what they can do with these simple concepts. Like this is another one of those games, like how come no one's come up with this game before now type thing. It's so elegant. That's the word I'm looking for. It's an elegant type of game, almost Reiner Knizia ish in its design. So
and its connectivity with understanding to playing.
Yeah. So 10, fantastic game. This was another one of those ones. It came with if I mentioned it back when I got Whirling Witchcraft, it came in that big night kit that AEG provided with us. And man, we just finally started exploring it the past couple weeks. And when this hits the retail shelves, which I believe it's out on the retail shelves now.
I think it is too, yeah.
Go and pick this one up. This one is fantastic.
Already, this is an episode that in my book I made a little note. Have a look at 10.
Yeah. So now
it might be in the cart by the time we're done.
So now I've got this trilogy of card games. And it's hard to now that I've got it and we've played them all so frequently. I've already started kind of categorizing. I think 10 is the stronger game out of the 3.
Really? Okay, because I love Point Salad.
Oh, and Point Salad
Shuffle yet.
Point Salad is second.
Yeah.
And on What You've Been Playing Wednesday, I mentioned playing Truffle Shuffle. It is the weaker of the 3, but it's still a good game. Like there's a really good game, but it is the longest playing out of the 3. And I think it overstays its welcome. Like it's still only about a 20 to 30 minute game, but I think that's a little too long for that one. But again, I gave my thoughts on What You've Been Playing Wednesday, so you can go back and listening to that one.
Cool.
For Truffle Shuffle. And that's the card game trilogy by AEG and Flat Out Games.
Well, I don't know if you just noticed in the show notes while you were doing yours, I pulled an audible because on the same, I pulled an audible. I was going to talk about, and this just says so much about Flat Out. I was going to talk about Cascadia. And
but you just reviewed that one not too long ago.
I just reviewed that one, right? But
you play it so often,
and I keep playing it, right? So there's a good seal of approval on that one. But Dave, I taught Dave and Jordan on our regular Wednesday night game in the garage. Arboretum, designed by Dan Kassar and published by, I think, Renegade Game Studios has the current version Is it Beth Sobel? I think Beth Sobel did the new version. Now I have the Z-Man original, and I absolutely love that art as well. But bottom line, what Arboretum is, it's another card game, because that's what ticked my head when you're talking about 10, going, yes, that's right. I as well just recently played a awesome on my, probably, if I was going to say all of my games total, like top 100, I would say right now, Arboretum has snuck its way into top 20 if it's not there already, kind of thing. But Arboretum is exactly what it is. You're building an Arboretum, which is a tree park. And so depending on how many players are playing, there are a certain number of species of trees that are in the game, and from numbers 1 to 8. And the objective is, it's all about route building and, it's route building in a tableau that has things that are orthogonally connected. There's no diagonal connectivity in this game at all, so just ignore that part. But essentially what happens is, at the end of the game, you get to score your Arboretum depending on the first card and the last card of a chronological sequence in ascending order. Wow, that was very technical. But that's exactly what it is, right? And it can be, you can skip numbers, but as long as it's chronologically connected in an ascending order, you can have like a minimum of a 3-card run of a certain species, and it has to start and stop with the species. Now, there's little kind of really cool things with the 1 and the 8 in regards to scoring it in your tableau. And here's the cool part that I love about this game, which got me thinking with the card counting in 10, is that idea of, I call it the seed bank, right? Who's in charge of the seed bank? You have to, in order for you to score a route of trees or a network of trees or a path of trees, you have to have the most combined total score of cards of that species in order to score it. So you can completely hoop somebody else that you see, oh, look at you, you're making maples. But guess what? You can dig through that pile all you want, because I got the hot cards, right? And so, yeah, you could put all this work into Aspen and come short by 1 point. And the person just gives you a little wink, and you don't like, if it's possible to score negative points, I could probably do it. But yeah, and I mean, without getting too deep into this, this is it's the most painful game, because here's the trick. You pick 2 cards, you put 1 in your tableau, and you discard 1, and everybody has a discard pile in front of them. And the timer of the game is the deck of cards. When that deck runs out, it's immediate scoring. Someone can push the clock if they want, right? But you can dumpster dive in everybody else's deck. So holy moly, talk about card counting, talk about stay out of my pile, you little raccoon. Oh yeah. Yeah, you trash bandit, get out of my cards. Yeah. You and I have played this a lot. So
I was going to ask, we've played a lot of 2-player. How was it at 3-player?
It was just as chaotic. And see, 2-player, because it scales, right? When it's just you and I, there's a limited number of species, but when you go to 3, you add a little bit more. So there's just more tracking involved. You're so focused on yours, and you're so focused that who's competing, who's going to go into the maple business with me, or who's going into the oak business, right? And you want to find that as fast as you can. You want to find that I call it the ditch species, right? Where it's just like
The one that's
people
always
just,
in the discard.
yeah, it's like, you know what? This is free. This is free. Thank you, right? But the moment you do that, people switch it up, and
Was it
yeah, I
harder to
hate.
get was it harder to get a path that is all of one species?
No, Jordan did it.
Oh, he did it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but at the cost of not paying attention to anything else, right?
Too
But
too
that was their
focused.
first, yeah, but that was their first play, right? So, but you know what? I'm thinking, did Jordan win? I'm not too sure. I'll have to go back and look at that. But what I notice now, because here's the difficult part is from my perspective, I don't know, you can weigh in on this, is when you're building this tableau, at what point in that numeric line do you start? Do you start at a 2, or do you start at a 5 and try to build left and right? And right, so a lot of the times
it's all
I would
the
start
cards
low.
that have been dealt to you. Really.
Yeah, yeah. So this time I tried, okay, I'm going to go in the 5s and 4s. That's where I'm going to start my stuff in the middle and see if I can get it to grow, and just, you know, kind of not necessarily chase a species, but be available to have anything kind of fall in my lap as I, you know, be a trash bandit. So I love this game. This is such a good game.
Yeah. Still top shelf.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cardboard Conjecture trivia, folks. You can see Norm and I's full thoughts on Arboretum way back.
Oh, geez.
Way back on
like
episode 4.
4.
It was one of the originals.
Wow.
It was one of the originals that we recorded in my classroom with just a
to
laptop and 2 crappy mics.
Yep. Yeah. Giddy up, Buttercup.
Yep. Go on Podbean and go back and search up episode 4. We talked about.
Part of me is like, oh man, don't.
You want to hear some raw podcasting?
Yeah. So I'm gonna edit that stuff out. I'm joking.
No.
So yeah, that was Arboretum. Love the game, and it's spoiler. It's I might mention it later in the show too. Cool. Right. Let's come back in. And you still want me to do the old-fashioned radio sound?
Sure.
I love that. Didn't sound too committed, man.
Sure.
Sure.
I love it. Sure.
All right.
Sure there, Scoobs.
And we're back. This is Cardboard Conjecture. It's time for the news.
Nice. And big, gigantic, prehistoric news we've got today. I'm fired up for this one. Have you heard? Have you looked at this link that is in the show notes?
I'm gonna look
Oh
right
my
now.
goodness, baby! So, Funko Games and the Prospero Hall design team is coming out with a Jurassic Park themed game. Not only is it Jurassic Park themed, it's Jurassic Park: The Legacy of Isla Nublar. It's a legacy game. Norm, it's a legacy game.
Cool. Maybe
Prospero Hall and Funko is giving us a legacy game.
Right
oh
on.
my goodness gracious. So from what I have gathered, and they got dinosaur miniatures, like they got the old T-Rex here trapped in like the electro wired fence
and
miniature here.
Is this the art like that they're using? It's so cool.
So yeah, if you look at the link.
Yeah, I'm looking at the link now. It looks, the poster on it, maybe that's the box cover, but it's got this Pulp Fiction kind of 1950s art fade to it.
Yeah, and it's got that iconic scene of the T-Rex tearing down that hall, and the banner falls on him and says, "When dinosaurs roam the earth," type thing. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be like a tile laying type of game. I'm just cruising here. I forget where they actually kind of explained a little bit.
I'm reading it right here. It says, you play through 12 adventures in which you customize an entirely unique game board and breed new dinosaurs you cannot unmake. Ooh. Your team's fateful choices will have a lasting impact, creating your own Isla Nublar story. Your experience will culminate in an endlessly replayable game of your own creation.
Yeah,
That is so cool.
And look at the documents. They're like those old style comic books.
That Pulp Fiction-y kind of thing. Yeah.
Playing time, every adventure is going to take between 90 and 150 minutes. We're looking at nice, chunky gameplay that's going on here with the promise of locations, events, and characters from the entire Jurassic franchise. If you look back on the book, the cover, yeah, there is like the original Jurassic Park, but there is the stuff like from the Jurassic World
hidden in the
series and then there too. So they are going to be spanning this entire thing. And if you're looking at the BGG page, you can get to those awesome images of Jeff Goldblum.
I know. Sexy. I'm nerding out about the minis, and there's minis in sealed boxes.
I bet you anything that those are those dinosaurs that you create. So like you're gonna go through the gameplay and say, if I created this dinosaur,
it'd be interesting if you could put different parts on. It's like if that box is actually, you dump it out and it's just, a head and a leg and a torso and a tail, and that would be cool.
But man,
that splicing. And
that. So this was a thing that I've been talking about with some people, since it's like this Funko Games Prospero Hall product. Like we know that the price point of this game is, like, I know with this one,
30s, 40s, something like that.
Well, this one I think is going to be a little bit higher because it's going to be that legacy. There's going to be more components to it, but I still don't think it's going to be outrageous.
I don't think it'll be more than 60 Canadian, which is like $5.75 American.
Yeah, nice. But man, oh man, am I enjoying what I've read. And this is going to be, they've advertised, this is actually going to be coming to Kickstarter. Nice. I think they said this is going to, now,
Prospero Hall.
Yeah, Kickstarter is going to be a big thing in the future here because I don't know, I still don't know anything about NFTs and blah, 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 and their whole blockchain stuff. There might be a lot of people taking a hiatus from Kickstarter.
Pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
Amway.
Yeah. But
cool.
Coming to crowdfunding. I'm just going to say that word. It's going to come to some sort of crowdfunding.
Sliding over to GameFound.
Right?
All right.
Okay.
Oh, Kate, I'm super happy and super sad because I mentioned today when we were texting back and forth how I didn't want to look at any of the social media pictures from Philadelphia with PAX U because just the time we've spent in Philadelphia and how much I miss Philly. So yeah, I hope everybody had fun and I hope everybody falls in love with Philly because man, that's a city to fall in love with. For sure.
Well, it looked like they were too busy playing games. There were a lot of people playing games at PAX U.
They probably didn't even know what city they were in.
But one thing that did
for the Reading market,
yeah, I want to go there. But one thing that did come out of PAX U, like now PAX U is not usually known for like their big announcements or anything like that. It's kind of like more of a gamers convention, playing games. But Isaac Childress of Cephalofair Games and Gloomhaven fame held a little mini briefing or some sort of meeting of sorts to kind of
a panel,
going over, what's happening at Cephalofair Games and kind of giving people updates about Frosthaven, which should be coming in 2022 here. Spoiler alert, he did confirm that the box size is bigger and of everything like that. But he also mentioned his next crowdfunding campaign is not going to be a new title in the Gloomhaven Frosthaven universe. Rather, they're exploring that you can add some new customizable components to your games in the form of Gloomhaven miniatures.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we already know that the characters that you play come as miniatures, but all of the enemies currently in Gloomhaven, are all standees. And now they are going to come out with these highly detailed miniatures line that you can incorporate. Now, he advertised that you can incorporate it into all of it. Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion, Forgotten Circles.
Gloomhaven.
So, and he advertised this too, that it's going to be coming to crowdfunding, and that he acknowledges that this is 100% an excess. If you are a Gloomhaven fan, You're going to want these. You do not need, he emphasized, because that's why he went with the standees to keep the price point of Gloomhaven down a little bit.
Yeah.
He went with the standees. There's a certain aesthetic you get with the standees, but people have been wanting miniatures. And so he says, I'm going to offer it to the masses.
Yeah, bling it up.
And he's going to this thing's going to go gaga for bananas because people are going to want these in their, and they're also going to want these for like their role-playing adventures too, I bet you.
That's exactly what I'm thinking of. It's like, wow, a lot of really cool monsters and NPCs and and
there was a little bit of information that I don't know how exactly he's going to roll it out, but there's going to be like you don't have to like purchase all of it, but maybe if you only wanted some miniatures for this certain type of monster or enemy, you can just buy those things type of thing.
Wormwood kind of does that, where it's like you just got to get in on the Kickstarter, and then once the manager comes out, then you can just pick and choose what you want, and then submit your bill. Yeah.
So he looks like if you want just like a pile of ooze miniatures, you can get a pile of ooze miniatures, or if you just want those vermlings, you can get just vermlings type thing. Yeah. So
that sounds cool.
That's really all information that we have about these right now, but man, and everybody at PAX U that attended that panel actually got a free miniature, like a promo miniature of just like, hey, this is exactly what's going to be coming to Kickstarter or crowdfunding. I'm going to start saying crowdfunding because I'm not about Kickstarter anymore. Those bastards.
Oh, there's an edit point.
Yeah. Beep.
Cool. Okay, so I think that was a way to exit the news, just like China syndrome or something. Yeah. All right, coming back in, and we're back. This is Cardboard Conjecture. Let's get into some topics, and we're gonna take some holiday spirit this time, and talk about some stocking stuffers and games that you can play with your family during the holiday season. So let's go with the stocking stuffers first. Now, my criteria was these are not break the bank games. These are like, under $30, under $20 if you can.
Also, the standard stocking size, not these gigantic troll ogre foot sized. You can't put Gloomhaven as a stocking stuffer, okay, folks?
We're not gonna have the Hulk sock here, folks. So
Star Wars Rebellion is not a stocking stuffer.
Yeah, no. So let's and it's not like we're doing a review. We're just gonna spit out some games and let you know why we think they're really cool in about a sentence or two, and we'll just see how fast we can fill up these socks. Like the metaphor.
I like the metaphor. Who likes the metaphor? This guy likes the metaphor.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so
stocking stuffers. I'm gonna go with the classic. I'm gonna start off with the classic.
You start off with the classic. What's a classic?
Just for the gamer in your life, they got a stocking above the mantle. Just a nice set of dice, or a nice deck of cards.
Ooh.
I think everybody just needs like a nice, and when I mean like a nice set, like I'm talking about like go get your like the acrylic case of like the Okie Dokies or the Chessex dice for that. Yeah. They can use dice for anything. I use dice for like all my counters in lots of my card games. Or just a nice deck of cards, like the plastic cards that never wear or fold. You spill drinks on them, they don't wreck or anything like that. A nice set of dice or a nice deck of cards. And they got all those theme decked out. Like, have you seen the Mandalorian style deck of cards?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh man, it looks so good. Or just like the Imperial.
The art on the back has got me going, maybe I need to get some of those and another crib board.
Yeah. Roxley Games came out with what they called the Iron Spades. They went along with the Iron Clay poker chips that they came out with, but they also created a very nice deck of cards. They're very, very nice looking.
Cool. And you know what? Let's just piggyback that thing with the cards. I mean, you could easily put a crib board in there, and that's another little kind of side like a little sidecar on a motorcycle, the crib board and the cards.
Yep. Find
Cool.
some local vendor that hand makes them. Something
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
Put the money in the local guy's pocket.
It's Christmas time. There's got to be some craft sales going on. Yeah, for sure. I'm, you know what? Because my first look at a lot of these is the common denominator are I got a lot of card games on this list. So
Generally, though, card games come in
yeah.
small, like boxes, small packaging. So
Now this is like you said, a couple decks of cards, but holy moly, are there laughs and anxiety at the table with a card game called Anomia. And Anomia plays with that whole idea of on the tip of your tongue. Because if I was to ask you, name a fruit, well, I mean, you could easily name a fruit, but if I was to say that it's a race, and the moment I flip over the card and the topic it is, that you have to say the first thing that pops in your head about that topic, well, you've got psychology kicking in, and you've got anxiety and stress and tension and excitement, because how this game works is you go around, and if there's any matching stuff that falls down, then you, in that theme, you have to say, like if you keep going around and you have a common which says a type of cheese, well, you got a cheddar, Swiss, right? And 9 times out of 10, you're sitting there. I refer to it as the four-wheel skid of a car into a brick wall, because you're like, as the other person goes, cheddar.
yeah.
Oh, there you go. Here's the point. So it's so straightforward. And every time I take this game out, the people are just, it's loud. And with the pages that this game gets very loud. So that's Anomia. Yeah. You've played this a couple times, haven't you?
I don't think that I have played. I've heard people playing it.
I've seen some of my students playing it.
People playing it. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's unfair, because that's French immersion students, and we're just loud and talk with our hands naturally. So, All right. What else do you got for the stocking stuff?
Okay. These ones would be perfect stocking stuffers, but it is the style of games I'm not very familiar. Like, I haven't played very many of them. Actually, I think I've only played one of them, but the series is called Oink Games,
Oink
and they
Games.
are super small packages, but the games pack a lot of punch, from what I understand. Now, some of the ones that I've seen that come up quite regularly in forums or anything like that, Deep Sea Adventure is one that comes up all the time. Startups comes up all the time. The one that you're just holding up right now, Insider, comes up all the time. And the one that I'm the most familiar with is Fake Artist Goes to New York.
Yeah.
Which
that's a
is,
good one.
Oh, it's so good. And actually, just come to think of it, you don't really need the box. No, the box comes with all the awesome prompts and the nice colored pencils and stuff like that. But Fake Artist Goes to New York is a fantastic game where everybody at the table, like if you're playing 4 people, everybody kind of reveals one of the clues, and 3 people get what the picture is, and the fourth person has nothing. They have no idea what the picture is supposed to be. And then you start passing around the paper, and everybody just draws a segment at a time of the picture.
Adds
And
to
so,
it.
and so as the one person, you're trying to figure, okay, what are they trying to draw? I'm just going to add a little bit of something until you finally get a picture. And then at the end, everybody's going to say, oh, okay, you got to try to figure out who was the person that didn't know what the picture was.
Yeah. That's that same concept as Spyfall.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But in this case, instead of talking about it, you're drawing about it. I think that's brilliant. I think it's brilliant. Yeah.
So
absolutely good one.
The Oink Games, they come in very, very small, like matchbox size cigarette, like a really old skinny cigarette box type style. But Oink Games pack a lot of punch, small package.
Absolutely nice. I'm going to mention the game Arboretum, because I had mentioned it before. Arboretum's fantastic stocking stuffer, but I want to mention this one in the same Z-Man series is Lords of Scotland. And that one is, if you like skirmish, kind of like beating each other up, and that's the point of the game. Like I'm not a big fan of take that games when the take that is there to, kick someone's castle, to harm someone's progress. I love take that games when when it's rock'em sock'em robots, right? And that's pretty much what this is, with a simple card system. Very much like Arboretum, there's different suits, but these suits are the Fergusons and the McTavishes, and each one has a special ability, and there's 12 all the way down to one. And the way you play these cards in your tableau determines who won that fight and gets the first, the first grab at the prize, and it's the first to 40 points wins. I absolutely love this game, and I showed it to Dave and Jordan. And Jordan loves his beating you up games, and this one was good because he wasn't used to getting it back.
Nice.
So yeah, it was fantastic. It was such a fun game. So yeah, Lords of Scotland.
Cool.
And I know you know this one because we played it.
We used to play that one quite a bit. Quite a bit. Okay, another one that I'm going to stick in here is there's so many good ones on this list. Let's just pick one here. The gamer in your immediate family or friends or anything like that. Do you want to put something in their stocking? Still comes. It's a big game, very little box. Star Realms. Star Realms is a fantastic deck builder game where everybody starts with the same currency and fight cards. But then you have to use those currency cards to buy the better ships. And the better ships will either get you life or more attack or more currency or some space stations that give you some extra abilities. Man, I don't know how many times I saw Carlo and Dylan from All You Can Board post a game, post a video about a game that you've played more than 100 times. I've logged hundreds of plays of Star Realms in my days, and again, it's just that small little, like, if you buy card sleeves, it comes in that size of a box. It's kind of like the card sleeve deck box size.
Totally tight. And it's another toe-to-toe game.
Yeah. And if the person you know already owns Star Realms, we'll get them one of the, like, hundreds, apparently now, hundreds of expansion packs, booster packs that just add to the game now for them. But Star Realms, that's the Wise Wizard, and now they've changed their name to Wise Wizard Games. Robert Dowtrey, what he's done with that franchise, it's amazing. Great. I think it's a great idea it's the ideal stocking stuffer for a gamer that that likes these types of games or likes games in general.
Cool. I'm going to stick with the card games. This one, I think you've played it. You've seen it played. My kids love it in the classroom. It is it is the best bluffing game out there, bar none, because of the speed and the amount of people that you play. And it's cockroach poker.
Yes.
And it's basically, again, there's 8 suits, and in those 8 suits there are 8 of those, like, let's say we've got flies. Well, there's 8 flies, and what it is you deal out everything to everybody, and when it's your turn, you take one card out and put it down, and you look at anybody around and say either it's the truth or not the truth. It's a fly. And if I'm looking at Ryan, you've got an option to go. There's 2 ways to go about this. Just accept it and pick it up and look at it and pass it to the next person. And so you can say it's a fly, or you can go, it's a scorpion, right? But if you want to have a standoff and I push it to Ryan and go, it's a fly, and he can look at me and go, no, it's not, or yes, it is.
Yeah. Now,
the trick of this game is if you get caught in a bluff, you eat the card, and whoever has I think it's 5, whoever gets a set of 5 loses. So it's not the first winner, it's the first loser, and the game's over. That's another one of these crazy games. Like, I'm talking, it's like you don't want to make eye contact, and your people's voice change. I just think, my cousin Bernard, when he has this, he's like, okay, and then he takes the card. It's a rat. It's like, where did this Barry White voice come from? Holy moly, that's a change.
Yeah.
No, it's not. How did you know? Because you went down 2 octaves when you told me. It's like, oh, okay. So and what a fun game. Yeah.
Yep. The anti set collecting game. You don't want the sets. You don't want to collect the cards. Oh, that's a great idea.
Cool.
I'm going to stick on the theme of for the gamers. There is such a collection of a wide variety of themes for these types of games. But again, it's the big game in the small box. We're talking the Tiny Epic series by Scott Elms and Gamelin Games. There are so many. Now, the box is starting to get a little bit bigger of the size for the stocking stuffers, but man, oh man, the small game, big
Stretch
box.
the sock a little bit.
So we're talking like there's Tiny Epic Galaxies, which is a fantastic one of the first ones to come out. We got Tiny Epic Quest, if you're more like a Legend of Zelda type of thing. Or we got Tiny Epic Kingdoms, which is like a 4X style fantasy adventure. Or the latest ones that come out, Tiny Epic Pirates. Kind of want to take that pirate theme, go sailing around the Caribbean and pick up and deliver goods. Or do you want programming robots, Tiny Epic Mechs? There's so many Tiny Epic Zombies for the zombie lover in your
Galaxies is my favorite though.
Galaxies is fantastic, and the great thing is that they play at a wide variety of player counts. They're soloable, like if there's a solo gamer in your life and everything, you can play these solo. They are great 2-player experiences. Tiny Epic Dinosaurs was a great 2-player version of these, but it also could play more and everything.
The meeples, the tiny little meeples of dinosaurs, just awesome.
So
cool.
The Tiny Epic series, and like I said, wide variety of themes. There's so many of them out there right now that you could find one that fits that gamer's taste and style.
Right on. I'm gonna go with the next one is another card game. But this one is I think it's my first trick-taking selection. This is Diamonds. And Diamonds is pretty much I would say, if you know how to play trick-taking games, this is the easiest step sideways into modern board games, because you basically use a deck of cards short of the royals, right? And what it is the suits, and they're the same suits: hearts, diamonds, clubs, and spades. But in this case, they produce gems that and you're like each person is a jeweler, and you've got a store, and you've got gems in front of you, and you've got gems in your vault, and you're able to take, depending on the suit and depending how you play, it's like your traditional trick taking game, right? Whatever suit is led, you have to lead. But if you don't have, this is where the trick is that each of these suits has a different power, that when you're able to trigger it, you can either put a diamond in the vault, or you can take one from the middle and put it in front of your store, or you can steal one from in front of somebody else's store and put it in front of your store. And when the hands all cleared out and you've played all your tricks, whoever has the most, I think in a couple of sequence of turns, whoever has the most diamonds hidden in their vault wins the game. It is such an intuitive trick-taking game to get someone into this hobby. So Diamonds by Mike Fitzgerald.
Cool. So I'm gonna hop on the trick-taking game idea here. There's a couple on my list. One is, and again, if you're in the gaming hobby, you'll probably have heard of this game lately. It's called The Crew. The Crew has definitely won its way around the multiple of awards and everything as the cooperative trick-taking game, where there are a series of missions where a certain player at the table has to take a certain card or certain value, something like that, and very limited information that you can share amongst the people. I think it's quite ingenious. It's just that you can place a card on the table, and then you have a token, and where you ever put that token, it says, this is the highest value of this card. This is the only card I have of this suit, or this is the lowest value card. And you can only do that, maybe. Some missions don't even allow you to even do that type of thing. So base game, I'm saying base game because there is a new version of The Crew that just came out this year. 50 missions or something like that come in the rule book. So lots of playthrough. And if you're familiar with
Scales well.
If you're familiar with that trick-taking genre, This is fantastic. And then another one that we really discovered this past summer was the Stick'em by Capstone Games. Re-released this game. And it's kind of got a funny version of the trick-taking genre where at the beginning of your round, after you look at your hand of cards, you have to determine what your pain color is going to be. And what your pain color is that those are if you ever take tricks that have that certain colored card in it, those are negative points at face value for you. Because normally if you take a trick, every single card in that game is worth 1 point. But your pain colors, if my pain color is blue and I take the 10 blue, that's negative 10 points for me all of a sudden. So it is a game where I've heard people describe it as it's the Estates, but as a card game type of thing. You're not scoring very many positive points. It's going to be whoever has the highest like negative value at the end is going to be whoever wins this game. So really, really neat game where you call out a color, you don't want to take that if all possible. And then everybody's card counting and say, we're going to load Ryan. He said red. We're going to try to get Ryan every single red card that there is in this deck type thing. So stick 'em. Fantastic. It's not going to make my list of games to play with your family because man, it gets mean fast.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna give one more on the way out here. Archaeology: The New Expedition, and Philip Walker Harding. This is I call this the Indiana Jones, the card game, because that's the thematicness of it. Is you're basically going out to archaeological digs, you're collecting sets, you're scoring sets, you're pushing your luck in regards to going at certain specialty cards. It's if you like set collecting and if you like a light card game that a lot of people can play and it's a short game, this is very much the game for you. So yeah, Archaeology: The New Expedition.
Nice.
Right on.
Nice.
Cool.
And are we going to continue with stocking stuffers, or are we going to go into now?
I think
games?
we'll go into the kids. We're at about that time to keep it into the quarters here. So cool. Let's come back in, and we're back. Let's get into the meat of the things, and that's talking about the family games to play during the holiday season. And I'm going to start off with two back-to-backs. I'm not going to say too much about it because I talk and rave about these two games by a favorite publisher, flat out. And this is Calico and Cascadia. I would say those two games, depending now, if you have a family that loves the abstract games where you're focused on your own thing, Calico is a fantastic game. If you want to up that and put a little bit more dimension into it, try Cascadia, where you have that pattern building of your territories or your geography, and you add that bonus of creating patterns with the animals within that. So yeah, though I would say that those are my first two games that I would say right out of the gates are probably great choices for your family during the holiday season.
Cool.
Ryan.
So I'm going to go with, these are tried, tested, and true Rao family games that we have played in the holiday seasons, and we are looking forward to it that we're actually going to be getting together this holiday season as a bigger extended family. So one of the games that we like to play, and you can pick this up at any store, Walmart, dollar stores, and everything, got versions of this thing. And this is a small little dice game called Left, Right, and Center.
Yeah.
It is fantastic. 3 dice, and it's either says left, right, center, or there's a dot. And on your turn, and I must preface that we start with that we play this game for money. We, instead of having the little poker chips, we play with quarters. And so we have 3 quarters in front of everybody. And yeah, you either pass, when you roll the dice, it's going to say pass a quarter to the left, pass a quarter to the right, or put it into the center. Or the dots mean you just get to keep something, and then you just get to pass the things around. Now, if you ever have less than 3 quarters and everything, you only roll. Let's say if I only have 2 quarters, I only have to roll 2 dice now on my turn because I have to figure out what I'm going to do with those things.
Yeah.
And yeah, whoever's left standing gets the little pot in the middle, and you are declared the winner.
Cool.
Left, right, and center. It's been and you can play this with as many people as you want.
That's a good sign.
Infinite scalability. So we always have like a table of like 7, 8 rows going around here playing left, right, and center. And the pot, well, you imagine that's 75 cents per like 8 players. And we play multiple games. It's a good beer and pretzels type of game where you're just visiting with the family every now and then. Left, right, and center. If you do not have a copy, go and spend like the $5 it is to get the dice and go for it.
Cool. This one is a cooperative game, and it's fun to play because everybody's familiar with these monsters, and it's Horrified. Horrified uses that, I like to call it the pandemic engine, with the card-driven movement of the monsters and the events, and each player has a specialized character in the game, and you're trying to eradicate the classic universal monsters of Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein and the Invisible Man and the Creature from the Black Lagoon and Dracula, and depending on the scalability, how many villains you want or monsters you want in the game, you can have so much fun with this game because it's very straightforward, and it's, you know what, it's a challenge sometimes. So yeah, that's Horrified.
Okay, the next one that we can't wait to get back to the table this family Christmas holiday season is we are looking forward to where I've got it all planned out for Christmas Eve already, is that we're going to have the Rao Family Strike Tournament. So,
Dice in a bowl.
Dyson, are you team Dice in a Bowl or are you team Gladiators in an Arena?
Yeah, Dice in a
bowl. It's just Gladiators in a bowl. I mean, Dice in an Arena. I mean,
yeah.
It's one of the things where you have so many, depending on how many players are playing, you have so many dice in front of you. One of the dice is an X. The other ones have 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. You toss them in the bowl. You're trying to strategically hit the dice to change the values. Because if I throw a dice into the bowl and it ends up matching another dice, I get to take those dice and put them in front of me. If there's ever no dice in the bowl, and it's my turn, I have to roll all of my dice that I have available, take out of the pairs. If it's X's, they get taken out. Whoever has dice left over at the end of the game is the ultimate winner. Man, it is a lot of fun, and it is how people think that it's strategic, that the way that you strike a dice with another dice to cause it to flip over or rattle around the bowl type thing.
Sure.
It's so fun. It is so fun. You play like 10 games in a row and you don't even realize you've played 10 games in a row. So I can't wait to have the Rao Family Tournament this Christmas Eve on Strike.
As long as it gets people engaged and having fun, it hits all the objectives. Cool. So I mean, I'm just going to throw this out there, and I think we'll just both agree that any Ticket to Ride would pretty much cover every family. So let's throw that one out there. But the one I want to talk about is if you have a family that's got some experience and you haven't tried, this level of game yet, this is, I don't talk about this often, but this is a great engine builder, and it's Wingspan. And it's very appealing to a wide range of people because of its wide breadth of appeal. Everybody knows what a bird is. Everybody can probably name you a few different kinds of birds. And the way that that this game is designed makes it very understandable and sequential, like a recipe in how you play this game. So as long as one person can read the rules and guide people through the game, everybody's going to have a fantastic experience with Wingspan.
Sweet. Okay, another one that I'm going to jump to is kind of near the bottom on my list, but we as a family always have enjoyed a good old game of Codenames. Codenames has never failed. Now, we own Codenames Pictures, which helps out with the wording. It gets the kids involved too, because they can describe pictures and they can describe resemblances and links in the pictures. So we play Codenames Pictures, and then if it's my brother and my sister-in-law, we play Codenames Simpsons, because we are massive Simpsons fans in this house, in the Rao family. And man, do we come up with the most obscure clues. And if my brother and I end up ever being on a team, like, we run the table. Like, my brother will look at it and be like, okay, radioactive 10 or something ridiculous like that. And I'll be able to go boom.
That one. Yeah, cool.
Oh gosh, yeah. Codenames, Vlada Shavato, one of his most uncharacteristic games, but man, that has been an evergreen title for Czech Games Edition, and there's so many different versions out there now for everybody.
Yeah,
Marvel, Disney princesses, Simpsons, Harry Potter, pictures. There's even a 2-player version that I haven't tried yet, but I heard is actually really, really good.
Right on.
Codenames.
Cool. I'm going to throw this suggestion down because you can play 2, 3, 4, and it's fast, right? So it's you can get through some games. A lot of people can participate. And this game is very abstract chess-like, and it's Santorini. And Santorini is so straight. The base game itself, I could play that over and over and over again because of the simplicity of its rules, right? Move, build, right? Pretty straightforward. Then you start to add the god cards or the the OP cards, and you start to have some pretty dynamic games. But like I said, keep it simple. Play the base game until they're hooked, and then go, oh, well, look at this. You can have these powers, but so can other people. So don't think you can run the board. So yeah, right. Santorini, I always have great games, even when I lose.
Cool. One that we've ended up as just immediate family, like Regan, Jen, and I have been playing this one a lot, but it has been very successful in the rest of my family, is when we introduce them to Camel Up.
Yeah.
The old race, the camel racing game, and you're going to bet on who's the winner, who's the loser. Can you determine who's going to be the winner of that particular leg of the race type thing?
Yeah.
So many laughs. And we have the second edition, which incorporates like the black and the white camels that go in the opposite direction. And when they finally meet the herd, man, do they just create crazy combinations. Who was once in the lead is now in the... Oh, man. When do I bet early? Because if I bet early and I pull it off, I get more coins at the end of the game. And there's just like that whole tension moment of just like everybody's just like, oh, why did that one happen? Why didn't the blue go 2? It only went 1. And oh my goodness gracious, and the table presence, it just brings people in. It's got a fantastic production value to it. Camel Up, and it plays up to 8 people. So it's fantastic. Like, cool. If you don't know Camel Up, go ahead and search it. It is a race game where you're just betting on who's going to win. Who's going to win.
This next one, and I said the word one, and I'm going to say the word one again because it's in the title, and it's just one. I really like this game for several factors. One, its simplicity, because what happens is on your turn, you take a card, you don't look at it, you show the group or whoever else is playing, and there's a list of 1 to 5 of words, one word, and I say 4, and everybody looks at 4, and maybe 4 is coffee. So everybody writes down one clue, and basically they're going to turn it around. I look at all the clues and I guess the word, but it's not that easy. If you have as your clue givers, if I write the same clue as somebody else, if there's duplicates, they're erased. So this is a game I love because you can feel clever at any moment. Even when it's a negative result, you can feel clever going, you thought that too, huh? We're so smart together, right? And it says you pull 13 or 14 cards and you try to see how much you can get. But this is one of those games. It's like a never-ending game. It can just keep going, And this is the beauty I love about this game is people can jump in and jump out at any point, and it's not gonna hurt the game because the game is all about being in that moment. So and everybody feels smart when this game comes along, and every time you say a clue or you finish the round, there's great discussion. So that's just one.
Perfect. Yep, I forgot to put that one on my list. Maybe because I don't own it personally, but fantastic idea. That should be actually, that's one I should actually go to the store, pick up for family game day on Christmas Eve.
2 games purchased this episode.
Yeah, I don't know why actually I don't own a copy at this point in time.
And the plastic, it's so self-contained. It's such a fantastic game. Cool.
Okay, one of my last ones I'm going to mention here tonight is one that hallway, like again, all these ones have been tried. Now, I'm giving a preface here. The Rao family is very hard to win over from their traditional, like, if it's a card game, it's always got a big canasta. It's been a canasta in the Rao family for like
Roots
generations.
Of tradition.
Yeah, so trying to break through to them has been very difficult. One game that I did introduce to them years ago was Suro.
Yeah.
And Suro has always been a fantastic. It's a tile laying game where everybody starts on the edge of the board, and then you start laying these tiles that have all these intricate lines and designs on them, and they always take you to some other part of the tile. And then eventually everybody starts coming together at some point in time, and now when I lay down on my tile, it affects somebody else, and they start zooming around the board. Maybe in the hopes of that they actually fall off the board at some point in time, and that you are the last person standing. And again, a game does not take very long. You can play multiple games in a session. We do betting. Like, I guess here's the big thing about the Rel family, if you haven't gathered, we like gambling. And so there's always like a loony in the middle. Everybody puts in a loony. You last person standing gets the pot type of thing at the end. And so, like, if you attend a Rao family function, there's a way that you come in with some
bring
chunks
some
of change.
Quarters. Apparently, bring a lot of quarters.
Bring some quarters. Bring some loonies.
Cool.
We're playing things, but Suro, Callipoli. I can't remember how to pronounce it. Callipoli games. Sure, we'll go with that.
Right on. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pop this one in here because it's one of Daniel's favorites to play as a family, and the way he pronounces it is just so awesome. It's my favorite racing game, and it's Flamme Rouge, and it's basically a bicycle race, and you control 2 cyclists. You have 3 cards that you pick on each cyclist and how to move down the track. And it seems easy, seems straightforward. Boy, is it cutthroat. Boy, is it fun. And it is so straightforward on how to play this game. It maybe takes you, it's one of these things, it takes you 30 seconds to teach the game, and then you're going. And by the next round, everyone's got the game. And the best thing about this is the tracks change. You can have like a Tour de France circuit. Flamme Rouge, one of my favorite racing games.
And on that note, I'm not going to mention anything about it because I'm just going to do a brief. Downforce would be another great one that's kind of in that same vein. But my last pick for the night, okay, I'm going to go with it because us Rows, we do love these things. Escape room games.
Oh, yeah.
The ones that bring the escape room experience to your table. So we're talking about like the exit games. We're talking about the unlocks. The one that you introduced me to, the Deckscape.
Yeah.
Games, which actually make a fantastic stocking stuffer. Hey, 2 for 1 here.
Yeah.
Any of those escape room style games, we just love sitting down. Maybe 4 of us just kind of just pull out something and just go to town. Start solving some puzzles, create some interesting dynamics. Everybody, there's that word. We have a word person. We have the logical person. We have the outside the box thinking person.
Yeah. I like the Deckscape series because it's the one that makes me feel the smartest. So I can do this one.
Yeah. I actually just told a bunch of people at work today about the games and the unlocks, and they're like, that's such a good idea. Why don't somebody meet? I'm like, well, they've been around for a bit. There's now a big catalog.
Does everybody know about this stuff?
Right? And they're like,
Cool.
wow, I wish there was a place I could go to know about these things. And I said, well, you can listen to Cardboard Conjecture.
Oh,
They're like, what's that? I was like, just 110 episodes of board gaming goodness. I guess 111 now.
Nice.
As of tonight.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Before we go out, I see one's on your list and one's on my list, and I'll both on the way out. I'll mention it and you could talk about it. It's another brilliant card game. It's Bonanza.
Oh yeah, when I introduced my family to Bonanza, they thought that. First of all, it took them a while to get into. They're like, "What the heck is even going on? I can't change the order of the cards.
I can't sort my cards.
I don't sort my cards. That's like my mom's thing. First thing, get dealt the other cards. She's like, "This time." I'm like, "Stop! Don't do that." She's like, "Well, why not? This doesn't make any sense." I'm like, "Oh, it's going to."
This game is weird. Yeah. No, it's such a great game.
Yeah, with that whole trading. Actually, when you were mentioning it, trade on the Tigris may be a good one too. With the just that whole social aspect of trading things.
There's a lot of depth in that one, but if you are gamers and you like trading, trade. What is it? Trade on the Tigris. Yeah. Fantastic. Cool. So I hope we hit a whole bunch of games that a lot of people can.
And not one of us said Monopoly.
Oh, you just said it.
Oh crap!
I can edit it out. Maybe I'll leave it in.
And not one of us said beep.
Yeah. Elevator music. Cool. Well, that being said, always thank you so much for listening to what we have to contribute about some cardboard stuff and some plastic bits and wooden cubes. And I'm your host, Norm.
And I've got a gambling problem. I mean, I'm Ryan.
And we'll catch you later. Cool.
Good old Ralph family. Just bring your bags of quarters and loonies.
Sticky notes of IOUs.
So many IOUs. Okay, and
bye everybody.
Oh yeah. For whoever was watching and listening to that,
and whoever's going to watch it later and go, who are these guys?
Oh right,
that apologize a lot.
Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to Bridge City Boardgamers on YouTube.
Hit the bell.
Hit the notification button that I have no way of knowing how to put that up on the screen.
Up there.
Over there somewhere. Going. Good night, folks.